Good morning to all, dear students. Today I will be discussing about stakeholders of business and business environment. First, let us see what are stakeholders. Stakeholders are those groups without whose support the organization would cease to exist. A stakeholder is a party that has an interest in a company and can either affect or be affected by the business. The primary stakeholders in a typical corporation are its investors, employees, customers and suppliers. However, with the increasing attention on corporate social responsibility, this concept has been extended to include communities, governments and trade associations. Let us see the internal stakeholders. Internal stakeholders are people whose interest in a company comes through a direct relationship. Owners. A business owner is the legal proprietor of a business, an individual or group that owns the assets of the firm and profits from them. He can be the same person who directs the business and control its day-to-day activities, or he can choose to have a manager for its purpose, or even name board of directors to do it. The corporate governance depends on the size and complexity. If the size is small, he can manage by himself. If the size is big and complex, he has to appoint people. Managers. A business manager is a person who manages the business affairs of an individual, institution, organization or company. Business managers drive the work of others in order to operate efficiently and to make a profit. Employees. An employee is an individual who is hired by an employer to do a specific job. He has an expertise in a specific field. Employees contribute their labor and expertise to achieve the desired output and get financial and non-financial benefits in return from the business. Let us look into the external stakeholders of the business. External stakeholders are those who do not directly work with the company but are affected somehow by the actions and outcomes of the business. Shareholders. Shareholders are the owners of the company. A shareholder, also referred to as stockholder, is any person, company or institution that owns at least one share of the company's stock. They get profit in the form of dividend. So the profit that the shareholders get at the end of the year in the annual general body meeting is called the dividend. They also enjoy certain rights such as voting at shareholders meetings to approve things like members of board of directors, dividend distribution, etc. Customer. A customer is a recipient of a good, service or an idea obtained from a seller, vendor or supplier through a financial transaction or some other valuable consideration. The interest of customer includes nature of the product, quality, price, customer relationship and services. Creditors. A creditor is an entity. It can be a person or an institution who provide funds to the business as a loan. They get interest for their loan given. Supplier. A supplier is a person or a business entity who supply required raw materials and capital goods to the business. Government. Government can also be considered as a major stakeholder in a business, as they collect taxes from the company as well as from all the people it employs, the company employs. Society. Ultimately, society is a group of individuals involved in continuous social interaction. Business exists in a society, so the society expects employment and environmental friendly operations. Let me give you an example to explain the concept of society. However good the students of BCom Cherpunkal may be in academics, if they are not behaving well in the Cherpunkal town, the existence of BCom Holy Cross College will be in trouble, because if the society wants, they can throw or they can close the college. So as students, you have to behave properly or interact properly with the society, otherwise the very existence of the college will be at stake. This is a pictorial presentation of stakeholders of business. As I have already explained, the internal stakeholders, employees, managers, owners, external stakeholders, the suppliers, society, government, creditors, shareholders and customers. Now let us look into business environment. Business environment implies the combination of all individuals, firms, forces and factors which may or may not be under the control of the business organization and has direct or indirect impact on its survival, growth, performance and profitability. Features or characteristics of business environment. Business environment is not static, it is dynamic. With this development in communication technology, it has become ever dynamic, more dynamic than ever. It is ever changing in nature because there are a number of factors which exist in the business environment whose influence can lead to change in the shape, character, policies, plans and strategies of the company. Multifaceted. Business environment is multifaceted. A small change in the environment can be viewed differently by different experts, analysts and observers. Relativity. Business environment is very much affected by the local conditions and situations in which the business is set up. Complex. Business environment is a plethora of different factors, events and conditions arising from a number of factors. So it's quite difficult sometimes to identify which factor is causing it to change. Uncertain. Uncertainty is the basic characteristics of business, and so does the business environment, as one cannot say exactly what can happen in future. Only predictions can be made. Interrelatedness. There are many factors in the business environment which are interrelated. That is why sometimes a small change in one factor can lead to the change in another factor. Importance of environment in business. In any business, it is important to be aware of the actions and strategies of your competitors. If you are not aware of the actions and strategies of your competitors, you are out. A business environment enables firms to analyze their competitors' strategies and actions. Each business firm has to exist, survive, and grow in relation to the various forces of the business environment. Since firms have no control on these forces, it has to adapt itself. The success depends on the adaptation of the business. A prudent study of business environment enables, prudent means perfect study or holistic study, to identify the opportunities and get the first mover advantage. It is always the person who is the first to grab the opportunity gets the maximum advantage. To get early warning signals and identify the threats, to tap useful resources, to plan and formulate policies to adjust to changes, to improve performance, to build image. This is the pictorial representation of business environment. Internal environment, value system, vision, mission and objectives, organizational structure, corporate culture, human resource, the most important resource without which everything will fail. Physical resources and technological capabilities. Internal environment is a component of the business environment which is composed of various elements present inside the organization that can affect or can be affected with the choices, activities and decisions of the organization. It encompasses the climate, culture, work processes, members, management and management practices. Factors influencing the internal environment, the value system. It consists of all those components that are part of regulatory frameworks such as culture, climate, work processes, management practices and norms of the organization. The employee should perform the activities within the purview of this framework. Vision, mission and objectives. The vision describes its future position. Mission defines the company's business and the reason for its existence. And objectives implies the ultimate aim of the company and the ways to reach those ends. To explain this thing, let me give you an example. Let us compare BVM Holy Cross College with Symbiosis Institute Pune and Christ Bangalore. In Christ and Symbiosis, I am not telling that that is bad, this is good. It is just to make you aware, or make you aware of the vision, different mission and objectives of the organizations. You cannot say that this is good or that is bad. So in Symbiosis and Christ, there is a 3-tier structure. Everybody gets admission. Keep this in mind. They conduct an entrance. They have a cutoff. The students who have cleared that cutoff, or who are in the top brass, for them there is a different price structure. Then comes the second. For them there is a higher price structure. Then there is a third. For them the price is more than 3 times. Even for a BCom 1 year, Symbiosis charges more than 3 lakhs. But as far as BVM is concerned, here the objective is not to make money from the business. It is not. The aim is to develop the society and the students. That is why the students who have got 90% pay the same fees, 60% pay the same fees, 80% pay the same fees. So I hope with this comparison you could have understood the different missions of that company for different organizations. That is why you see Symbiosis has become a huge university, because the money that they get, they reinvest in that organization, and they call people from abroad for giving lectures and all. Organization structure. It determines the way in which activities are directed in organization so as to reach the ultimate goal. Corporate culture. It refers to the values, beliefs and behavior of the organization that specifies the path in which employees and management communicate and manage the external affairs. The values and beliefs. In BVM we have uniform. That is, we want to treat everybody equally. Whereas in Symbiosis or Christ there is no uniform. Human resource, the most important or the most valuable asset of the organization. Whatever you may have, infrastructure, technology, if the human resource is not motivated, the organization will fail. Philip Kotler has said that out of 10 companies starting similar business, only 2 companies succeed. All have all the infrastructure resources. The problem is the motivational level of human resource. Physical resources and technological capabilities. This is also very important. It refers to the tangible assets of the organization, which play a pivotal role in ascertaining the competitive capability of the company. Technological capability imply the technical know-how of the organization. Let us look into the external environment. An external environment is composed of all the outside factors or influences that impact the operation of business. The business must or react to keep up with its flow of operations. The external environment can be broken down into micro environment and micro environment. The company's micro environment looks like this. The company is their suppliers, intermediaries, competitors, publics, customers. The elements or factors in a firm's immediate environment. Micro environment means immediate environment, which affect the performance and decision making, is called the micro environment of the firm. These elements include the firm's suppliers, customers, competitors, company, marketing intermediaries and public. Elements of micro environment. Suppliers. The firm depends on suppliers for equipment, raw materials, etc. to maintain their production. Suppliers can influence the cost structure of the industry and are hence a major force. Customers and consumers. A firm cannot survive without customers, since they are the people who buy the product or services. A consumer, on the other hand, is the ultimate user of the product or service. Competitors. It is a must for a firm to be aware of its competitors and in a position to analyze threats from its competitors, their strengths and weaknesses. Company. Self-analysis of a firm is an important aspect of microenvironment. It must understand its own strengths and weaknesses, objectives and goals of the business, and resource availability. Marketing intermediaries. These are a major force in business since most customers are unaware of the manufacturers. They buy the product on the advice of the intermediaries, that is the wholesalers. Publics. Publics are a very crucial factor to build image. To build its image, the firm must provide employment to the local people and come up with environmental friendly operations. The best example is the Tata Group. The macro environment. The macro environment consists of political and legal environment, economic environment, social and cultural and demographic environment, technological environment, ecological and physical environment. Macro environment refers to uncontrollable external factors that indirectly affect the operations of an organization. The success of a firm to a large extent will depend on the company's ability to adapt and react to the changes in macro environment. Elements of macro environment. Socio-cultural environment. The social values and culture play a huge role in the functioning of the company. Wherever we are functioning, we should be aware of the social and cultural environment. Otherwise, we will be out. Technological environment. In this modern competitive world, technology is constantly changing. It is a must for business to keep up with the changes for its survival. The technological developments can be a boon as well as a threat to the firm. The example is Apple. The technological advantages are a boon for companies like Apple, and it is a threat to firms like Bata, which are totally being extincted. Economic condition. A business depends on the economy for all its inputs and factors of production. It also sells its products and services in the same market. If there is a boom in the market, then all businesses will benefit from the favorable conditions, and vice versa. Ecology and physical environment. Nothing to mention about ecology because the pandemic that we are facing is evident that what is happening to the companies. It plays a crucial role in manufacturing companies. The global warming has started affecting the rainfall in certain regions. This in turn may affect the crops and cause shortage in raw materials such as jute, cotton, rubber, etc. Political and legal factors. The political environment of a country will mainly depend on the political beliefs and ideologies of the party in power at state and cultural levels. The legal environment refers to the rules, laws, regulations, etc. that affect the functioning of a business. Thus, a stable legal and political government is favorable for the business. Business environment analysis. It is a process to identify all the external and internal elements which can affect the organization's performance. The analysis entails assessing the level of threat or opportunity the factors might present. These evaluations are later translated into decision-making process. So, before making decision, there are certain techniques which we have to adopt to do a complete scientific business environmental analysis, which we will be discussing now. The analysis helps to align strategies with the firm's environment. Need and importance of environment analysis. The environment analysis helps us to identify our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities and threats. It helps us to use our resources optimally. It helps us for our survival and growth. It helps us to plan long-term business strategy. Environmental scanning helps us in decision making. Models of environmental analysis. Business analysis models are useful scientific tools and techniques that can help a firm to understand their environment and think more strategically about their business. Some of the important techniques are as follows. SWOT analysis. I have already discussed you about it in our class, first class. It is not only for business. As individuals, you also should always go for a SWOT analysis if you want development. But as our typical Mallu behavior, we are always bothered about what others' weaknesses are instead of looking into ourselves. So let me get into the topic. It involves looking into at the strengths and weaknesses of the business capabilities and any opportunities and threats to the business. Once these are identified, business can assess how to capitalize on strength, minimize the effect of weakness, make the most of any opportunities, reduce the impact of any threats. Pest analysis. P stands for political, E stands for economic, S stands for social, and T stands for technological. It is a management method whereby an organization can assess major external factors that influence its operations in order to become more competitive in the market. Value chain model. Before explaining the value chain model, I will give you a simple example. You may be seeing in our college store, there is a pen available for 3 rupees. This 3 rupees pen, that company is going for value chain model. They are providing valuable product for the least price. So, a value chain is a step-by-step business model for transforming a product or service from idea to reality. In 3 rupees you cannot even get a tea. A tea comes for 10 rupees, and that 3 rupees pen you use for nearly 2 or 3 months. It increases the business efficiency so that business can deliver the most valuable value for the least possible cost. The end goal of value chain is to create a competitive advantage for a company by increasing productivity while keeping costs reasonable. If you look at that pen, it is not attractive, but it works. Tau's matrix. It is a relatively, here what is happening, it is just the opposite of SWOT. In SWOT, first we look into ourselves. Strengths and weaknesses are internal, opportunities or threats are external. But in Tau's matrix, first we look at the external environment, then we look into our weaknesses and strength. That's it. It's a relatively simple tool for generating strategic options. It is used after detailed analysis of your threats and opportunities, strengths and weaknesses. It helps the business to consider how to use the external environment to own strategic advantage and to identify some of the strategic options available to the business. BCG model. BCG model means it is a Boston Consulting Group model in America. This talks about the market share. The company which is having maximum market share is supposed to be a strong product. The BCG model assumes that relative market share of a product is an indicator of its cash generation potential. A product with a high market share typically has a high cash return, and it also has a strong brand position relative to its major competitors. These features are indicators of future successes. Global business environment. Let us come into the last part. Now the whole world has become a global village with the development of information and communication technology. So we should be aware of the global business environment, which is more complex than the national business environment, because there are more than 198 countries involved. You are competing with more than 198 countries. The global business environment can be defined as the environment in different sovereign countries with factors exogenous to the home environment of the organization, influencing decision making on resource use and capabilities. To function effectively and efficiently, I hope you remember, effectively means doing the right thing, efficiently means minimum input, maximum output. Companies operating internationally must understand the social environment of the host country. Whenever you are doing global business, the social environment of the host country is very important. For example, if you do business in Japan, an American company does business in Japan, you have to be very careful. Japanese don't shake hands, they bow their heads. If you don't bow your head and if you use your American style, then whatever good product you may be having, they will not buy your product. So before going to the different countries, you should understand the social nature. In India, boys don't give hands to girls. So American businessmen should be very careful when they are dealing. They use namaste. Now in this pandemic, this namaste has become very famous. Factors to be considered while operating in global business environment. There are 5 factors to be considered. First, we have to see the economic system. The business has to clearly understand the economic system of a nation within which it operates. The operations of a business depends on the system of economy, whether it is capitalistic, socialistic or mixed of the economy of the nation. The political system. Political system plays a very crucial role. Economic policies of a nation are formulated by the political system of the country. If you would have seen Narendra Modi, once again, I am not political, I am apolitical, I am just giving you these examples to make you explain the concept. I am not with any party or anybody. So keep this in mind. Narendra Modi is the only Prime Minister who has gone to America. You would have seen, there are many Prime Ministers who have gone to America and conducted meeting with 23 CEOs. He nearly begged them. There was a meeting for more than 40 minutes where he has nearly begged them, which no Prime Minister has done. Why did he do that? Begged them means invited them to come to the country and do business. What does this mean? This gives a positive signal to the foreigners or to the Americans that this particular person is very much interested in doing business. So the political system also, and he developed a policy that there will be a single window system. Previously, companies had to go through long procedures and different offices and different paperworks. And in that American meet with the CEOs of 23 companies, he has told that he is planning for a single window system like that we see in our banks. That any foreigner who wants to start a business will bring all the documents, put it in that window, and he will get it back there itself. He need not run around different organizations. So understanding the nature of the political system is very essential. So before entering into a foreign market, you should understand the nature of the political system. You should only do business in those countries where the political system is favorable to the foreigners. Social system. This plays a very crucial role. Whatever good product you may be having, if you are not, if you are against the social culture of the country, host country, you will be thrown out of the country. Different countries have different traditions, culture, language, religion and social norms. So to be successful in global market, the business should sell different types of the same product which suits distinct markets. Let me give you the example of McDonald's, a multinational corporation which failed in Arab countries. What happened is, McDonald's used such a big company having people from IIMs as managers who give them the ideas. Still they failed because they broke the social system of the country. In the burgers they use pork meat to soften. Pork meat is very soft, to soften the burger. This particular thing they forgot, that they are working in an Arab country. And when people found out, there was a huge retaliation and they had to close down for certain months and they had to change their burgers. This shows the social system is also very crucial. Technological advancements. The business has to upgrade their processes and programs in accordance with the changes in technology to the host country to survive in the global business environment. For example, if Maruti wants to sell its car in England, which is technologically upgraded than India, it cannot sell Alto. It has to go for the higher versions. Whereas if they want to sell cars in Africa, which is technologically downgraded than India, they can go for Alto. Intense competition. One crucial thing that everybody should remember, that global business environment, the competition is intense. The competitors are from more than 198 countries. With the development in information and communication technology, anybody can order from anywhere in the world. So the firm must equip itself in all fronts to gain a competitive edge over the others and excel in the global business environment. Thank you very much, dear students.